Today on the podcast, we have Gotham and Germany goalkeeper Ann-Katrin Berger. Ann is a 4-time Women's Super League champion with Chelsea, but earlier this year she joined Gotham and she has already had such an incredible start to her NWSL career. She recently won a bronze medal at the Paris Olympics with Germany, where she had such an incredible tournament. Not only did you save multiple penalty kicks, but you also scored a penalty kick in Germany's quarterfinal against Canada. It was truly an awe-inspiring thing to witness, and all of this on top of beating cancer twice. Ann, thank you so much for being here, and welcome to the women's game.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
I'm really excited to talk to you. Quickly, I do have something that I found in my research. We have the exact same birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Lucky us.
We're Libras.
Yeah.
October 9th.
How crazy.
That's what I said.
I never met someone that actually has the birthday in October.
Oh my gosh. I have a couple birthday buddies.
Really?
Yeah, and now I'm like so excited that you're another one.
That's actually crazy.
Maybe I'll message you on our birthday and say happy birthday.
I will message you back then.
Okay, so as I mentioned up top, you just got back from the Olympics in Paris. Your national team, Germany, won a bronze medal in large part because of your incredible performance. You were one of the top goalkeepers and honestly one of the top players in the entire tournament. And as a fellow bronze medalist, I feel like it's kind of a complex feeling to win a bronze medal. I think in my experience, it was a little bit disappointing that it wasn't gold, but it was also, we ended on a win and ended on a high. So I'm curious how you're feeling about your tournament and about the bronze medal in general.
First of all, I actually think I really like it that you have a first, second and third place. I wish that would be in all competition because it just gives you also like still a really good feeling about winning the last game, even if it's not gold or silver. But it was a little bit weird, I think, because when we actually won against Spain, it was more the feeling like, wow, that's it. Like there's nothing more to come. And it was, I think I always had that feeling when I won something, I was like, oh, that's actually it. Like there's nothing coming more.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like it's really hard to turn the switch off that's always ready for the next thing. It's hard to, in your brain, go, oh no, we're done. We
exactly. And I think I'm also a type of person, it was really, really shit, bad, whatever you want to call it.
You can say shit, I think. It's okay.
To lose against the US. But we knew as a team that we still want to win, and I feel like it also felt like a final because we're playing against the world champions. So we knew we actually have to give everything we have into this game. And one day I felt sad, but then I had only 2 days to recover and say like, look, that day is gone. And for me, I'm really good in just switching off and say like, I can be sad for the rest of the day, but then tomorrow I actually have to focus about the other game. Yeah. And I do that quite good, I think.
I think that's fascinating that you pointed that out. I felt the same way in our bronze medal situation where we had lost to Canada, and I was so devastated that there was this part of me that was like, I don't even want the bronze. Like, it's so hard to turn around and get back up for that. But my teammates made it really clear how important a bronze medal at the Olympics was, that first, second, and third place is part of the Olympics more so than any other tournament. How did you feel your team, and you're saying you're good at this, but how did your team go from that really low of losing and get back up to play in the bronze medal match?
I think our coach actually had a big role in that because he was like, look, we didn't secure for sure a medal, but now we have still everything to play for to actually win a medal. And that was always the case. We went to the tournament because over the last couple of years, I think Germany struggled quite a lot because we lost really, really good players. And some of Germany, I think in general, like even the media, they were like, what kind of players is he picking? Like it's a very young squad, and they never played in that combination together. And I think that's why everyone didn't have as many hopes or anything like that, and we proved it wrong. And I think that's where he said that's the turning point. You guys, nobody actually believed in you, because when I came, you were really down. Like, we had a really bad World Cup, and I think that's what he made us realize, that even a bronze medal is something incredible.
Yeah, it is. I think looking back on my experience with it too, it's the only Olympics really that I was a part of, and so to have something that will last now forever from it is incredible. I want to backtrack from that bronze medal match a little bit to your quarterfinal. Your team went into penalty kicks against Canada, and not only did you make 2 saves, which again, I think in a penalty kick shootout, a goalkeeper is usually tasked with making 1 save. That can change everything for their team. You made 2 saves, and then you scored your own kick from the spot. So I want to talk about this for a while, and I want to start with the goalkeeping part. As the game is winding down, the clock is ticking down, you're in extra time. When do you first start to think, okay, we might go into penalties and I might be asked to play a big role in this?
When the whistle blowed?
Not until the whistle blows.
Because I always knew that we can also score a last-minute goal, and we are quite good in it. And also they can score, so I never thought about before going to a penalty shootout, because it happens and then I get on with it.
Okay, so the whistle blows, and now you're going, okay, we're going into penalty kicks. You go into your little break as a team, the huddle, you're discussing something, you're getting something to drink. In those moments, knowing that the game is largely coming down to your performance over the next 15 minutes, what do you think about? Are you reviewing the other team's kicks? Are you doing some sort of mental preparation? Are you just taking deep breaths? Like, what's your routine in those moments?
I actually don't have any. I don't think about it. I listen what the coach is saying. I listened that I was the 5th penalty taker. They asked me if I can do it, and I was like, yeah, that's totally fine. I had no concern, and I always felt really comfortable in a penalty shootout, because as a goalkeeper, I think you never have any pressure to save a ball, because as an outfield player, you should know from 12 yards out, you should score. Like, it's a big goal.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I just went really, really calm. Like, I felt like at some point in the penalty shootout, I just felt like I was on the training pitch.
Wow.
I didn't hear any voices. I didn't hear any fans. I didn't even hear what the referee is telling us at that point. I was like, okay.
That is fascinating, and I think that's a mindset that a lot of players wish they could find. Like, that's a place a lot of people wish they could get into. When your coach said that you were the 5th kicker, were you surprised, or did you earn that spot through training your own kicks?
She never saw me kicking a penalty. Yeah, never. We didn't.
What?
Yeah, she didn't see it. She just knew that I'm comfortable taking a penalty, and for fun, I did it at Chelsea sometimes when I got bored in a game or 11v11, because we did some tactical puts on the other side. I just took some penalties then, but never against a goalkeeper. So it was.
So you had never taken a penalty kick against a goalkeeper before this one in the Olympics?
In a game, no.
Okay.
In training, I think I had to do it like a couple of times, because obviously in every competition you have a penalty shootout, and they asked everyone to take one, and I really enjoyed it when I did it.
That is incredible. While your teammates are kicking and you're kind of off to the side, you've been goalkeeping, do you have a certain mindset then, or do you just kind of again go into, this is like training, there's no pressure on me, I'm just going to watch and go back in the goal when it's my turn?
Basically, that's it. I obviously knew that I would, if it goes not so well, I would take the 5th penalty. So I already looked like what the tendency of the goalkeeper is. That's the only thing I was thinking, but not about how do I save the ball.
Okay, so I do want to get into when you're in goal trying to make saves. Have you studied?
I don't study.
You don't study.
I don't want to sound arrogant.
No. It's fascinating.
I don't study because otherwise I think I'm a big believer that when you study too much or you've seen too many pictures or anything like that, that your mind is not working as straightforward as the situation it is, because football is about like split seconds. So you have to make the decision when you're on the pitch, not... my goalkeeper coach is telling me, okay, you know what, this player, 90% she goes on this side.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know.
Yeah.
But the rest, I
It's
just...
instinct, split-second decision.
Yeah, first of all, and second, I can't tell you, obviously, my tricks.
Please don't. I don't want to know.
I will do it when I retire, because a lot of people ask me that, but we need our body to actually hit the ball. And that's what I'm looking for. Not the ball, just the body.
Okay, that's interesting.
A special part of the body.
Okay.
There's one special part that is not guaranteed. There's nothing, you can't guarantee anything, but there's one special part that you're most of the time right.
When you get that right and you make the save, what do you feel? Like, do you feel emotion? Do you feel relief? What do you feel in that moment you've realized you've saved it?
I actually feel like, wow, that actually worked. That's actually it.
And do you...
I'm like, wow, I was right.
Is that like relief, pride, joy?
More joy. I think more joy that I worked on it now a long time. I watched penalty takers and everything like that. So I'm like, wow, that was fun.
Wow. Okay. So you made another really, really critical save in your bronze medal match against Spain. Right at the end of the game, your team was winning 1-0. A PK was called against you. Up steps Spain's Alexia Putellas to take the kick, and you save it. It's seconds before the end of the game. The clock is ticking down. Did you know with that save that you had won the game for your team?
No, because I didn't know where the ball went. Obviously, was really, really happy because I know it was probably the last kick of the game, but I also was like, where's the ball?
It wasn't.
I was a little bit stressed inside. Maybe you didn't see it from the outside, but inside I was like, where's the ball?
Well, I know I said this at the beginning, but you played such a huge role in your team getting to that bronze medal match and winning it. And it's such an incredible accomplishment, so congratulations. Something else I wanted to ask you about today was your battle with thyroid cancer. I know that you've beaten cancer twice, once in 2017 and then again more recently in 2022. It's hard to imagine how shocking and scary this diagnosis must have been to hear for the first time in 2017. So I was wondering if you could take us back to that time, if you're comfortable talking us through maybe when you first realized something was wrong.
I didn't even feel like something was wrong. That's the most scary part, I think it was, because I had a cold and I always had the tendency that my lymph nodes around my neck actually swollen up like really, really big. Like you, even as a non-doctor, you could see it. And then at some point in October, my mom actually came on our birthday. And she said that is not normal, like, because I had a really, really big lump coming out of my neck. And I was like, yeah, but the lymph nodes, they will come down because it was only a week ago and it took always really long that the lymph nodes are coming down. Mm-hmm. And she just had a feeling. I think it's my mom's instinct. She was like, please let it checked. And I was like, yeah, Mom, I'm fine. But then after a week, I didn't, it still wasn't going down. And then I went to the doctor and he did more tests than I expected to do. And I was like, okay, something is going on wrong. Because normally you just have a blood test or maybe an ultrasound or something like that. But then after a while they said, okay, we have to put a needle in, arthroscope. basically.
Like a biopsy?
Yeah, something like that. So just put a needle in just to get like tissue. And
To
then,
test it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they tested and I was like, okay, that's not normal. And then an MRI as well. And I was like, okay, something is going on wrong. And then on the 17th of November, I went to the doctor and then there was like, it was a little bit weird because there was like 2 nurses and then I didn't know that one of them was a psychologist as well, and then a doctor, and I was there with my physio back then in Birmingham, and then they just told me, yeah, thyroid cancer, and I just saw my my physio next to me just started crying.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, well, first of all, like my English was not as great because I was like, okay, thyroid, what's that? I just heard cancer.
Yeah.
So I was like, I actually have no idea. So I had to translate it. And I was like, split seconds later, when I translated it, I was like, okay, cancer, am I dying? That was my first question. And then obviously the doctor was like, he was quite brutal, but also I like it. Like he was straightforward because you can't make it nicer. So he was like, no, there's like a very low percentage that is coming back. The treatments are getting so much better and everything like that. And I was like, okay, so how long does that process take? Because I'm playing soccer and I have to get back to that. And then the whole room, even my physio next to me, was like looking at me like, what's going on? Like, why would you ask this question? And I was like, well, it's my job. Yeah. And I don't want to lose soccer. Right. And if he's telling me I can play soccer after all the treatment and operation, then what's the problem?
What did he say?
I think that's the first time that I saw him like, yeah, there's nothing against it.
Meaning you could play through your treatment?
So that was, and then obviously we had more conversation with like, okay, we have to get operation ASAP because it was quite aggressive because it was already very advanced. He thinks probably half a year I already had it. So on the 17th, like I said, I had the appointment, and on the 5th of December, that was my operation date. So I trained till the 4th because I was like, can I train? Like, is there something? I was not allowed to play on the 4th of December, and it was actually against Manchester City as well, and I was fuming. My goalkeeper coach back then, she saved everyone because I was not happy. I was like, the doctor told me I can train or play, and you're not letting me play. That's not acceptable. And then I obviously didn't play because it's always like, it was an important game for Birmingham and Man City. And then the next day I went to hospital, and I had to stay in hospital for 3 days because I think it was like 5.5 hours operation.
Yeah, that sounds really scary. I think something I want to dig into a little bit more is you talk about how you were diagnosed and you trained right up until your surgery. I read an article that you said football saved your mental health during this process, during what you went through. And I wanted to ask you about that, about how playing and being able to focus on football through your treatment on and off, during and after, like how did that get you through some of those moments that were really scary?
So you probably know as well, like when you go through the Olympics, for example, you just go day by day for game. Like you don't think about like all the other things. You don't switch off because you can't. You only have these certain days. And that's what happened with my treatment. When I went to the doctors after the 17th, my goalkeeper coach, I told my doctor, give her all the information she needs, and I just told her, you get me back to football, and I do it. Without questioning, without like asking or anything like that, like day for day, you telling me what I'm doing. And I think because my only thing was I just want to play football. That's the easiest part, like, and how do I get there? And because of her, because of my goalkeeper coach back then, I just had to do it. I didn't have to think about it. Like the coaches are doing all the preparation and you literally just have to do it. And that's how I did my treatment and my operation. After my operation, I was not allowed to walk certain distance, do exercises that time of the day, also like how long, and then about the weights, then about like flying, because it was Christmas time. I wanted to fly home as well. So I was like, these are my priorities. I want to play football and I want to fly home on Christmas. And she made it work. And I just had to do it. So that's why football helped me, because I had a target to work towards it. Obviously, we had to see if the operation goes well, because if I don't have any nerves anymore to lift my arm, then obviously everything would have changed.
Yeah.
But after the operation, everything went well. I had my voice, I can move, and now it's just time to recover.
Yeah, so that actually is my next question. Like, as an athlete, you do so much for your body to be in peak physical condition. You're fueling properly, you're sleeping properly, you're lifting weights, you're running. In those days after your surgery, how far away from your normal fit self were you, and how did you get back? What was that journey like?
I just saw my journey on videos, because I had no idea. I switched my brain off and I just functioned. So there were days where I thought I was moving my neck and I didn't, because my brain said, yeah, you're moving it, but I couldn't. So that was sometimes weird to see, because obviously with the nerves and with the ligaments and everything they cut through to get to the thyroid and the lymph nodes, they had to cut through a lot of nerves and they had to heal. So sometimes I was like just really stiff like this, and then I was like, yeah, I'm moving, but I was moving like this.
Wow.
So it was very scary, like, because your brain just told you something completely different what your body is actually doing. So that was the first step, that I have to make myself move my head with my hand at the beginning, because physically you can't do it without.
Thank you so much for telling us all of that. I know you had a recurrence in 2022. Was it a similar process? Did you need another operation?
No, so when you have thyroid cancer, you have the operation to get the big stuff out, and then you have radioiodine treatment to actually get the small bits, cells of cancer out. So I had that on my first one, I think in January, 21st of January, the first time. And then I went to the Euros, and then I played, not played, but I was on the bench on the final, and then 3 days later I had to go to treatment again, because through the whole Euros I went back and forth and had to do some tests again, and that's what I obviously found out again. So you don't need the big operation. It was just the radioiodine treatment, where you get isolated for like 3 to 4 days. It depends on how radioactive you are the first 3 days, because certain levels you're allowed to leave, because otherwise you're actually giving it to other people.
Wow. It sounds like your mentality to get through this is, honestly, it's unlike anything I've ever heard. It's so incredible. And it also sounds like football was such a North Star for you, like a beacon of finding your way back. And it's such an incredible story, and I'm really grateful that you shared it with us. I do want to move on to your time here in the NWSL, which I'm excited to talk about, but I just want to say again how grateful I am that you opened up and shared that with us. So you've battled and beat thyroid cancer twice. You've carried your national team to a bronze medal at the Olympics. You've now come to America to compete for a championship with Gotham. You signed and made the move to the NWSL in April. And so I read this article that you said you were struck by the quickness, like how quick it was in your first game here in the NWSL. What are your other early impressions of the league? Like, how is the NWSL different to where you were playing before?
Physical aspect, obviously, they're a lot quicker here. So I had to obviously learn the hard way sometimes when I was too slow to kick the ball away to get a foot on my foot or anything like that. But also, I think like anything can happen in a game. Like even if you're in possession, I don't know, like 60-70%, but like if you actually don't take the chances, you will get punished here way more than in Europe, I would say, because like I said, there's only one ball or like one little chance where the teams can come back, and I really enjoy that because that means that my mentality had to change really, really quick because you can't sleep for a second here.
Yeah, it has always struck me as well, just how any team can win on any given day. You're right to say even if you had 90% possession, it doesn't mean the other team is not going to score on their opportunity. I know your Gotham teammates have been really struck by your ability to play out of the back. You spoke about it's so much quicker and you had to get used to that, but right away, I think it was actually Rose Lavelle, she told me that she thought you'd actually help Gotham score more goals because your team can now build out of the back with such confidence and accuracy. Have you found that your distribution ability is really effective here?
That's really nice, first of all. I wish she would tell me that.
I'm sure she will. I'll tell her that I clued you in, and maybe she'll.
No, I think it always helped. It doesn't matter in what team you are. It always helped that if you have a goalkeeper that actually can play out, and I think that was one of my attempts when I changed leagues, that I really want to play out as a goalkeeper because you always have one person more on the pitch if you have a good goalkeeper on their feet. And it is nice to hear that people think that I bring that to a team and I give them the opportunity to score more goals. I wish they would do it even more.
Yeah, for sure.
To make it easier for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is nice to hear, of course.
Definitely. I noticed it as well. I came to one of your first games here and I was like, wow, she really can ping it anywhere she wants to. Your distribution is incredible in this league.
Yeah, it's okay.
So your fiance, Jess Carter, also just joined Gotham. Of course, Jess being here now, I'm sure is such a joy for you. And I'm wondering if this area now, New Jersey, New York, does it feel more like home? And how are you guys adjusting to being here together?
Of course, if you always have like a family member around you, it is way nicer. And I'm very happy that Jess came. I think because I'm a very family person, I always need my comfort zone, and she's my comfort zone.
That's really sweet. Do you guys have like a favorite American place or thing to do?
You know what, I just talked about it with our chef. I love in America Philly Cheesesteak. It's my favorite thing. Like that's my favorite, like that's the best thing that American do. A Philly Cheesesteak and the biscuits.
And a biscuit?
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they are good.
So these are my two favorite things that I'm still trying to find a really good Philly cheesesteak here in that area.
Okay.
Obviously, I could drive to Philly and get the proper one, but...
Right. Okay, well, maybe some people can send in some recommendations for you. I'll let you know. This is my last question for you. You've been through so much, trials, triumphs. When you reflect on your life and your career, is there an overarching lesson that you feel you've learned through all of this till now?
I think my favorite saying is from my grandma: everything happens for a reason. And my whole life, I think, is based on that, because I never went through the youth system in Germany. I just got called up 4 years ago, the first time into the national team. So football-wise, I went the long way around to actually then play at the end in the Olympics, and also my treatment, my illness, I think is maybe not a lot of people are agreeing with it, but I also think it happens for a reason, because I came stronger out, and I came out more valid, like I'm more valuing my life more and appreciate it more, and I think that's why that's my saying for my whole life.
Well, what an incredible perspective to have. Gotham is so lucky to have a person like you on their team and a player on the field. I wish you health and happiness. Good luck at Gotham, and thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, it was so fun. Thanks, Ann.
And I really like your t-shirt. I really hope I will get one.
I just got it today. It's new. I think they must have one for you. Thank you so much, Ann. That was really great. I appreciate it. Cut, everybody. We did it. We did it. Thank you all so much for listening. Chatting with Ann was really, really amazing. It was seriously really emotional to hear about the mentality with which Ann approached her cancer diagnosis. Like, I honestly forgot I was hosting a podcast because I was just listening to her in awe. Ann is someone that I really admire, and I'm so grateful that I got to interview her. I'm so grateful for her openness and vulnerability. So I hope you all enjoyed the interview as much as I did. Most importantly, can we please get Ann some Philly cheesesteak recommendations? Send them in. Email me, womensgamemib@meninblazers.com, and I promise I will pass them along to Ann. Next week, we have an episode of Good Vibes with Lynn Williams dropping on Tuesday, and then another incredible Friendlies interview with Bay FC and Zambia's Rachel Kundananji dropping on Thursday. I just spoke with Rachel about her record transfer fee to Bay FC and her experience at the Olympics with Zambia. Rachel was so warm and fun, and I loved getting to know her, so I'm excited for you all to hear that interview next week. Make sure you're subscribed to our newsletter for all of the women's soccer news delivered straight to your inbox every Monday. And you can also follow along with the Women's Game on social media at Women's Game MIB on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. Thank you all so much for being here. We'll see you soon.